With the Milwaukee Brewers in first place, they trade all-star closer Josh Hader to the San Diego Padres for a package that includes Taylor Rogers, the lefty that San Diego just acquired at the beginning of the year from Minnesota, Dinelson Lamet, the 30-year-old righty who had a great 2020 but has struggled with injuries and form since, Jerry Ruiz, the top 30 prospect in the organization, dynamic, speedy player, and then the Friars' number 7 prospect, 23-year-old left-handed pitcher Robert Gasser. Now, I think we should learn as fans, that you can't grade trades directly after they're announced. It's going to take some time, and we'll have to look back, right? I mean, just look at the Edwin Diaz, Robinson Cano deal in New York. I think folks still need to send Edwin Diaz some apology letters and the New York Mets for their initial takes on that, right? But on the surface, Kevin, when you look at this deal, you think what?
That shocked me. I'm going to be honest with you, it shocked me. Josh Hader has been such a huge part of this development with the Milwaukee Brewers. He's been the entire bullpen scene early on back before the Williams and, a lot of stuff. Josh Hader was as filthy as you've ever seen, still is. I mean, doesn't give up home runs, strikes guys out, huge in the postseason. If you need that first and third strikeout, less than 2 outs. He's been dominating. Now, the ERA is at 4.24 right now. But when you look at this at first and you ask me what was I thinking, I was like, holy cow, it's shocked, because as a fan of baseball and the Milwaukee Brewers, which is in a hitter's park and a club that right now is 3 games above the Central ahead of the St. Louis Cardinals, and a team that has a chance to win the World Series, if they'd be one of the 12 that we would sit here and list. And of all the clubs, Brewers are in that mix. You're like, wow. And what's the one thing we always talk about teams trying to get are arms, closing that game late in the game, shortening the game, which Craig Counsell does such a great job. They've had injuries to the starting staff. And so I was like, whoa. Yeah. Now back to you.
No, I'm with you, Kevin. I think people see Josh Hader and they see one of the most dominant bullpen forces of his generation and that we've seen, right? From the left side. Went 19 appearances this year without giving up an earned run. Now the last 16 in the third innings have been quite ugly. He's given up 16 earned runs. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Baseball is going to happen. He's a free agent after next year. And these two teams specifically have been kind of flirting, dancing around this type of trade for a while now. We've heard rumblings before the year. Hey, they've talked about Josh Hader. So this connection between San Diego and Milwaukee, it's happened before with David Stearns and A.J. Preller. I agree that the fact that the Brewers are in first place and the way that the pitching staff is built, you have not just postseason hopes, but pennant hopes, right? Because they can throw the hell out of the baseball. And I know that Devin Williams seems poised to take over the closer role. He's been that good. Taylor Rogers has experience as a closer and a back end of the bullpen weapon. So the return, they're not punting on this year, clearly. Dinelson Lamet has been around a little bit. He's in a little bit of a valley. I'm waiting to see what else Milwaukee does the rest of the way. But for San Diego, let's put the Brewers on the back burner for a second. For San Diego, Kevin, A.J. Preller's not done ahead of the Tuesday deadline. So how much does this move, acquiring Josh Hader, vault them in your eyes in the National League?
They're to me, a very intriguing team, but they've been that intriguing team. They dropped off significantly the second half of last year, and this is a team I don't see doing that this year. I love their starting staff. I love their 5 guys. I think they need a star in the outfield. They need some pop in the outfield. They need some homers in the outfield. You got Machado, who we know is wonderful. Hosmer, I love. He's wonderful. I love he's a ball player, brings more to the table than just homers, nice glove, whatever. So they have some stuff. They have a bullpen now that can get outs. They have stuff. I still think they're missing a bat in the outfield that can drive the baseball over the fence. End of story. That's my opinion. But they are a team we know that's not going to win the West. Dodgers are going to win the West. They are a game and a half, ahead in that wild card situation. They can buy some time, but I don't think A.J. Preller is done. No. It'll be interesting. This shocked me because at first, you're like, this would never happen. You're like, Josh Hader's a Brewer. No. This is good stuff, though. This is talk. This is kind of mixing both teams up. They both got some stuff. They both got some mojo, a change of scenery we always talk about while you're struggling. Well, you don't have to struggle for a change of scenery. We'll see where these two teams go, but I love the Padres. They're a sneaky club. And the Tatis scene, does he come back at some point? I mean, it's a lot to ask to him to come back like Kyle Schwarber was in the 2016 World Series of the Cubs, where he hadn't hit live pitching. He was hitting bullets up the middle. But it could happen. He's that kind of guy and
He's that talented. Yeah, no question. I think for baseball fans, keep in mind that it's not just a one-game wild card with the expanded postseason. So you're not just building a roster, a team for that one game if you don't win the division. The Padres are going to play 3 games no matter what. And it's possible that these two teams could meet in the postseason.